So you want to know what are the best things about living here in Phoenix, Arizona? In this video today, we are going to be covering my personal top 10. I moved here from Nebraska a couple years ago and I absolutely love living down here. So I want to share with you some of the things that I love most about living here in Phoenix, Arizona. So we'll start out with an honorable mention at number, it would be 11. The one really nice thing is that there's no toll roads. You know, if you go into some other major cities, especially if you're coming from like the Northeast, you'll have a lot of, turnpikes and a lot of toll roads. So down here in the Wild West, there are no toll roads anywhere. So you don't have to worry about paying to drive on the highways. Phoenix gets a lot of public money for all of the roads. So the roads are always in really, really good shape. But that is one nice thing that I had to mention, especially if you're moving from other areas of the country. There are no toll roads anywhere down here in Phoenix. So at number 10, we will start out. One really thing that I noticed right when we first moved down here is just how overall like clean the city is. I don't have any statistics or anything like that, but it's just a general feel of that when you're driving down the roads, whether it be the city roads or the highways, you don't really see like a lot of like trash anywhere. And to even go further on that, you don't really see like a whole lot of like billboards, slamming advertisements in your face all over the city either. So it's a very, very clean and overall pleasant looking city. The city does a really good job of keeping everything nice and tidy. It is pretty cool. Like when you are driving on the highways, they got little desert designs on some of the bridges, as well as a lot of desert landscape all the way throughout. So that's things that I really like of when I first moved down here, is just how clean the overall city of Phoenix and the entire city of Phoenix Metro, right? Just how overall clean it is. Number 9, the food scene down here is really, really, really good. Especially if you love Mexican food. I joke around that our Mexican and Hispanic food consumption has about tripled ever since we've been down here. The quesadillas, the tacos, burritos, tamales, all that food is so good down here. There's so many good restaurants. I will say one thing that we haven't quite found yet is like some really, really good Italian food. Not to say that the city and the valley doesn't have it, but down here you're gonna see a lot of California's type cuisine and Mexican cuisine, but it is so good. There's so many mom and pop shops, especially if you live in like the older part of town. So like the Encanto neighborhood in Phoenix, or like the Lehigh area in Mesa, or downtown Gilbert, downtown Chandler, the Glendale area. There's so many mom and pop shops that have been around for 30, 40, 50 years. So you definitely got to go check out and just how amazing the food scene is down here in Phoenix. So moving down to number 8, the cost of living, for all things considered, is pretty affordable for being the 10th largest city in the U.S. and having almost 5 million people down here. You can still buy a house in the low 300s. However, you may have to just be commuting in. So affordability in general is actually really, really good in Phoenix compared to other major cities. LA, New York, San Francisco, Chicago, the Houston area. Again, housing has gotten a little bit more expensive down here, right, in the last couple of years with how many people are moving in. At one point, there's almost 300 people moving here every single day. So the cost of living, all things considered, is really not too terrible. We just rented a 3-bedroom house in Gilbert. It was about $2,100. So, all things considered, right, I don't think that's too terrible. When we first moved down here, we were living in the heart of the city. We had a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, about 800 square feet, and it was $1,500 a month. So rent has gone up a little bit. So, just all things considered, the groceries aren't too bad. Gas is about $3.50 to $4. It's right at about the national average. So really, all things considered, the cost of living is really, really not that bad. Housing is going to be the biggest expense, and there are other affordable areas of town that more than just a $500,000 and $600,000 house. There are some other areas in town that are more affordable. You just may have to commute in. So if you're looking more on like the lower end of housing, it's definitely available. You just may have to drive. Now, moving on to number 7, one of my favorite things is where the airport is located in general in the city, and B, just how it's an international airport. So you can fly from here to London. You can fly direct. You can fly over to Asia direct. You can get there's nonstop flights constantly to Hawaii. But there's also nonstop flights everywhere in the United States. This is a huge hub for American and Southwest. So 2 really major airlines that you can get direct access to almost every major city here in the United States, right? So I love to travel. I've traveled all over the world and all over the U.S. So having an international airport with that many nonstop flights is really, really beneficial to me, and one of the things that I really love most about Arizona. Now, one thing to consider, right, if you have a lot of family in the Northeast, those flights do get a little long. We've been there a couple times, and it's about 4 to 5 hours depending on exactly where you're going. So potentially a little bit longer flight times, but just know that there's so many direct flight options. And what is really nice too with Phoenix is that you have 2 airports now. And so you have Sky Harbor in the middle of the city, and then you have Mesa Gateway down in the southeast. Now, Mesa Gateway is starting to really grow, right? They're planning to build a lot of different gates and terminals there as well. But you can fly into, like Fargo direct. You can fly into smaller towns in Wisconsin direct. Minnesota has Sky Country, they fly direct. So there's so many different flight options of, getting down here to Phoenix. So that is definitely one of the things that I really have enjoyed of living here in the area. Now, moving on to number 6. You'll see this on a pro, and it's going to be on one of my con videos of some of the things that I don't like about Phoenix. But in this aspect, I really like how spread out the city is. There's over 5 million people that live in the entire Phoenix Valley, but you never really feel like you're living in that big of a city just because of how spread out everything is. So like now we live in the Ahwatukee area, so we don't really need to ever leave our 5-mile radius. We have Costco, we have grocery stores, we have movie theaters. City of Metro Phoenix, right, has done a really good job of making sure that you have everything that you need in your little pocket. And it's just so spread out that you just never feel like, people are on top of each other, and it's super, super packed. Kind of corner to corner up in the Surprise area all the way down to like Queen Creek, Santan is almost 80 miles. So it's a very, very spread out city, and you never really feel like you're on top of anybody or that, it's just super, super congested. So that's definitely one of the things that I've really liked about being down here. Now, before we get to number 5, guys, if you like this video, make sure you click the like button and comment below. I want to know your thoughts about what my list is so far. What are some of the things that you've heard about moving down to Phoenix, as well as hit the subscribe button if you like our video. And in this channel, guys, we cover everything there is to know about moving to Phoenix, Arizona, as well as living here. So if you're thinking about making a move, whether you're moving tomorrow or you're moving in 6 months, feel free to reach out to us via text or send us a quick call or hit us up via email if that is your preferred method of communication. And we will make your move as smooth as possible here to the beautiful and sunny Phoenix, Arizona area. And we get calls and texts from people just like you every day that are looking. So if that's you and you're looking to make a move, please feel free to reach out. We're happy to help any way that we can. So moving on to number 5. One of the really good things that Arizona has is it has all 4 major sports teams. You have the Coyotes for now. We'll talk a little bit about that. You have the Diamondbacks, you got the Suns, and you have the Cardinals. The Coyotes, they're kind of going through an interesting part right now. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do with their stadium, so they may not be down here for long. But for right now, we have all 4 major sports teams. It was really cool. The Diamondbacks were just in the World Series. The Suns have been in the finals, and the Cardinals are a work in progress. So it's just so nice that you have the ability to, go to major sporting events. And not to mention, at all of those venues, there's always concerts coming into town as well. So a ton of entertainment options, and that is one of the things that I really like. I don't go to a ton of sporting events, but it is nice that when we are in the mood to go to a baseball game or basketball game, we have the ability to. So all 4 major sport teams are down here in Phoenix. Number 4, Arizona just in general is a very, very diverse state, and Phoenix is right in the heart of it. So with that, you're gonna get some amazing day trips. Whether you're going down to Tucson and going down to Saguaro National Park and, hiking Mount Lemmon, or you're going up to Prescott and, that's 25 degrees cooler in the summer, so it's a really nice escape. The beautiful red rocks of Sedona, you got all the evergreens and the mountain climate up in Flagstaff, or, all the lakes on the eastern side. You got Show Low, Globe, all those little towns. There's just so many day trips, and they're endless. You got Tombstone, right? If you've ever seen that movie. So there's so many different day trips that you can take from Phoenix. So if you're an outdoor person and you love to explore, and get out and take little road trips, all of these, little towns that I had just mentioned, these are all within about 2 to 2.5 hours of Phoenix. So there's so many different diverse day trips that you can take. Again, going up to Payson, it's 25 or 30 degrees cooler. So in the summer, it's an amazing getaway. There's so many good camping spots as well. So the diversity of day trips is endless here in Phoenix. And that's definitely one of my top things that my wife and Stephanie and I have really loved about being down here in the Arizona area. Now, number three, so my sister, she lives out in Denver, Colorado, and if they want to go for, any mountain hiking, they got to drive 2 hours into the mountains. Not here in Phoenix. That's one of my favorite things is all of the mountain hiking that you get from, you could get to a mountain within 30 minutes from no matter where you're living here in the Metro Valley. So if you love to mountain bike, if you love to hike, you don't have to drive very far. Again, it's only going to be about 30 minutes. You got like Piestewa Peak in the central part of Phoenix, Camelback Mountain, the Phoenix Mountain Preserve. You got the Superstition Mountains out in Eastern Mesa. So there's just so many different hikes and mountain bikes that you can do. So if you, again, are an outdoors person, you love being active and getting out there, the fresh sun and getting some exercise, Phoenix is going to be an amazing spot for you because you don't have to drive very far. It's an easy 20 to 30 minute drive for you, and you're just gonna love how pretty just the overlay of Phoenix is. So that's definitely one of the things that we've really loved is how close the mountain hiking is. Now, number two, you're not gonna be surprised on these last two if you followed my channel at all, but one of the best parts about living in Phoenix is that in the winter, it only gets down to about 40 to 45 degrees, and that's like at the middle of night. So, winter time, it's 60 to 65. After living here for a couple years, I've started to get a little cold about, living here in the winter time. But if you're coming from the Midwest, man, when you step outside in November and December and you don't have to worry about the wind blowing or shoveling snow, it's just so amazing the weather that Arizona has. Does it get a little hot in the summer? Yes, absolutely. But it's the trade-off, right? So we have 8 months of beautiful weather and 4 months where it's a little bit hot and you don't want to spend as much time outside. So obviously the weather is one of the major factors that we moved down here for, but it's not going to top my number one reason for why I absolutely love living down here in Arizona and Phoenix is you can golf all year round. In the summertime, it's actually better to go out and play because the courses are not as busy. You can play super nice courses for very affordable. For example, like True North right now, they're asking like $289 or something crazy like that. In the summer, you can go play there for $45 or $50. So the value that you're getting of golfing in the summer is absolutely amazing. But the best part is that in November, December, January, February, you can be out there working on your game, going to the range, playing 18 holes when it's absolutely beautiful out. The courses are in really good condition because in the fall and winter time, they come in and they put fresh new grass seed on all of the courses down here. They call it overseeding. So if you want to know more about that, please reach out. But the courses are in such beautiful condition. They do get a little busy, so that is kind of a drawback, but it is just so nice that you can be able to golf all year round in the beautiful sunshine here in Phoenix. So guys, that wraps it up for my top 10 about what I love most about living here in Phoenix. Again, comment down below. I want to know your thoughts about what if you do live here, what you like about living in Phoenix, as well as if you're thinking about moving, what are some concerns and what are some things that you're looking forward to most about living here in Phoenix. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching and catch us on the next video.